All right, class. I wanted to give you a quick rundown on expectations for this semester-long project called the Stock Market Game. I know that I've sent some previous announcements out over the past couple of weeks to kind of get you familiar with the course layout, course design, what's expected of you week by week. And I know I sent you about a week ago or so this brief announcement here about the stock market game, and just to kind of mentally prepare for it, to watch the video. I hope that you have by now. But I've got your groups assigned, and I'm really ready for you to kind of dig into what this is going to be. But before we dig in, I just want to make sure that everyone knows that this part of the course, or this portion of the course, is really supposed to be low stakes compared to your homework, quizzes, and exams. And I say that because I want you to have fun in this part of the course. I want you to really use this opportunity um, to its fullest extent, because not many folks get to play the stock market for free. And so that's what this project is going to allow you to do. It's going to allow you to join a team and play the real stock market, because this game, while it is a simulation, it actually pulls data from the true stock markets that are going on right now. And the only thing that's not real is the money that we give you to invest. And every group is going to get $100,000 of virtual money to put into the real stock market, and to watch and see and learn what happens when they do that. And hopefully this will be an experience you'll look back on and say, man, I'm really happy that I was given that opportunity at CCCC, because it allowed me to learn without losing my own money, but it also encouraged me to start investing. And that's really the point. The point is to get you familiar with investing without being afraid of it. And so that's just kind of my quick 2 cents on why we have you do this. But let me just dig into this button and kind of give you a rundown of what to expect over the next week, week and a half. So in this area right here of your course is everything that you need to know about this project and this simulation. Now, the link to the web page that you're going to navigate to play the stock market is right here. And so we're going to navigate away just for a moment. So I'm going to click this link, and it's going to take me to the Stock Market Games log page, and I'm going to click Login. Now, you have been assigned a group. You do not register. You've already been registered. I registered you. So where you need to go is you need to go right back to Blackboard, and you need to go down to your group. So down here, you should now see an area of your Blackboard course that says My Groups, and you need to click on your group. So your group will say like SMG Group 1 or Group 2, Group 3. Mine just says Example Group, just for the purposes of this video. So you're going to click on that, and then once you click on that, you're going to go down to the group discussion board. Now, this is a discussion board that is specifically for your group and your group only. And in there, I have now created a thread for you, and that first thread is your login information for the stock market game. So when you click in, mine doesn't have a thread, but yours will. You should see a login information. It should look something like this. It should say like login information. It'll say username, and then it'll have a username there for you. It'll say password, and it'll have a password there for you. Do not share this information with another team. This is only for your team. But you will copy the username right into the login page. You will also copy the password right into the password, and then you will click login, and that will take you to your team's dashboard, and you will finally be able to start looking around in the simulation and get familiar. Now, before you start playing in this software, I highly recommend that you go back to the stock market game area and become familiar with other parts of this folder, because it really prepares you for interacting with the simulation. but that's the first thing that you need to know is how to log in. Now this folder here tells you how to do everything in that simulation. So if you click this folder, there is a how-to video or written instructions for everything that you need to know to play the simulation, to participate. All right? And there's even a frequently asked questions document at the bottom. So I really want you, before you come to me and ask me any questions, I want to make sure that you have looked through and reviewed the resources in this folder, because your questions are likely going to be answered here. Okay? In addition to how to play the simulation, there is also your team job responsibilities. So not only are you a part of a team, but you are going to figure out over the next week or so who is going to take each one of these roles. So in every team, there's going to be a manager, there's going to be a reporter, and there's going to be a journalist. And this document tells you what each one of those roles is and what their responsibilities will be for the whole semester. So it's up to you as a group to nominate folks to take these roles. You will report back to me during our first meeting who is going to be what. All right, and I'll go over that more in just a moment. Okay, so let's go back to Blackboard. So that's the how-to folder. Okay, so let's go back to the stock market game area of our course, and let's keep looking. Collaborating virtually. So I know a lot of you probably took this class online and you probably thought, well, I'm not going to have a group project because it's an online class. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We are going to do a team assignment. It is going to be in a virtual space, and I think that it's very necessary for you to get more comfortable doing this, because I keep in touch with a lot of professionals, and what they all tell me is that their jobs are requiring them more and more and more to communicate virtually with people, because the companies don't want to pay to have people driving or flying when they can communicate via Skype or Hangouts or FaceTime to be able to have conversations or meetings. And so I think that, again, this is a low stakes assignment that also allows you to get comfortable with virtual communications. So what I did is I placed a folder here that encourages you to use some different tools for collaborating virtually. One of those tools is doodle polls. So if you're concerned about your availability and your team members' availability, doodle polls are a quick and easy way to figure out when you all can meet. So how does that work? You create a quick and easy poll, you send it out to your team, and everybody checks the days and times that they can meet. And then what the poll does is it reports back to the whole team, and it says, hey, for example, everybody checked Saturday at 6 o'clock. So what the poll then tells me is that Saturday at 6 o'clock is probably when my group needs to meet every single week. Maybe your group will be different. Maybe it's Wednesdays at 8 a.m. in the morning, or maybe it's Sundays at 9. Every team is different, but what the polls allow you to do is to handle those communications quickly and seamlessly. Okay, moving on. Every one of you has been provided with a Gmail account. It's your Cougar Mail account. Your Cougar Mail account is a Gmail platformed account. And in that account, you have the ability to use Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts is an instant messaging service that you can use to chat with one another if you do not want to exchange cell phone numbers. Another really great app, if you have smartphones, is GroupMe. GroupMe is a really awesome group text messaging app that you use that allows you to group text message without having to exchange your cell phone numbers. These are all options that students in the past have adopted and they love, and I think that this is some options that you and your team might want to discuss so that you can be successful in keeping communications active and alive all semester long. For the start of the semester, I would encourage you to use your group discussion board, or you can use your send email tool that's under your group's name. See, when I click this tool, it only shows people that are in my team here, and then I can select them, and then I can type a subject like, hey, or I can say like groups first meet and greet, right? And I can say, hey, just found out we're all in a group together. I'd like to schedule a time to meet. Let me know if you want to use a doodle poll or if you want to exchange cell phone information or use GroupMe so our team can get rolling on this SMG project. This is like a typical message that you might send to your team at the very beginning of the semester. And once you hit submit, all your team members will get an email. Just so you know, speaking from experience, most students are not checking Google Mail, and that's where this goes. So it might take a couple of days before you get responses back from your team. Once you do get responses back from your team, please make sure that you are using the optimum communication method for all team members so that you don't have anxiety or stress attacks waiting for your team members to get back to you. I can tell you from experience, Cougar Mail is probably the worst way. Okay, so let's go back to the stock market game area and keep moving through. There is a checklist that I highly recommend that you all review because it will sum up this whole video and kind of give you an idea of what you need to do next once you've spoken with your team. There is also a getting started quiz. This quiz is a pass-fail quiz. You either get 100 for taking it or a 0. It does not matter how well you do on the questions. The questions are set up in a way to gauge whether or not you know anything about the stock market and about returns and interest rates and so on. So you might come across questions that you feel like you are ill prepared to answer. That is totally fine. You might be ill prepared to answer them. Just give it your best shot. As long as you take the quiz and you give it your best effort, you will get 100. If you don't take this quiz, you will get a 0 as a participation 0. But the point of this quiz is to see how much you know about the stock market before you play the game or participate in the simulation. At the end of this course, you will take a post-stock market game quiz to see if your knowledge about the stock market has been enhanced by participating in this course as well as in the simulation. So it's very important that you do both because we want to be able to measure how well you did at the beginning and how well you did at the end. So that's why that's there. All right, moving on. This is where your graded assignments start to come in. Your first graded assignment is very simple. It's to meet with me by the deadline. So your deadlines for all of these assignments are listed on the course schedule, which is located in the orientation area of this course. So I'm just going to hop over there very quickly. So you'll notice if you look down these rows that some of the things that I'm about to go over have deadlines. Whatever it's listed as is the deadline is to the right. All right, so I just got done talking about the stock market game quiz. That is done separately. It is not done as a group. Every individual group member must take this quiz on their own so that we can get a good idea of where everybody stands in terms of stock market knowledge before participating in this class. This next one is a group assignment. You need to get together with your group and come up with a best time to meet me and then email me as a team and let me know what some options are so that I can make arrangements on my calendar to meet with you. Now, you are in an online class, which means that we will most likely either meet virtually in a virtual office space or we will meet on the phone. It's totally up to you and your group which one we do. Either way, I need that meeting scheduled no later than the 9th of February. So what do I mean by that? I would prefer it if the meeting actually took place before the 9th of February because you have more assignments coming, right? But if you just can't seem to get your ducks in a row, then I need you to at least have contacted me and we have to at least have put a date on the books, and so for you to get credit for that first assignment. This is also an easy A assignment. It's just like, hey, let's get a meeting on the books with our instructor. All right. Once you do that, you'll get 100 for that assignment. Okay. And all the other assignments that I'm going to talk about in this video are in the course schedule so that you can keep up with the deadlines for all of them. I highly recommend that you keep this course schedule up all the time because it literally tells you everything you need to know and when it's due for the whole course. Okay. So I'm going to minimize that. So the next thing that you're going to work on after you meet with me is the manager has to submit to me a planning report. The instructions for that report are all here. The expectations are here. I assume that you can read these and can figure out what I'm expecting of you by that due date. Throughout the semester, the journalist will have an assignment and the reporter will have an assignment. Now here's the catch. Even though these are individual assignments, your whole team earns whatever grade that person gets. So for example, whatever the manager gets on this planning report, you all get for that. It's not like an individual assignment. It's a team effort. And so if the manager contacts their team and says, hey, I need help with this, I expect all team members to get involved. If the journalist says, hey, this is my assignment, but I need help with this, I expect you all to get involved. It's all about supporting your classmates when they need help. And so if they say they need help, then you need to lend it. And so you all get a grade for every one of these, regardless of who did it and who turned it in. Only one person has to turn it in, but everybody gets that grade. Okay? So there's going to be a journalist assignment, there will be a reporter assignment, and there will be a reflection report. All of these are due separately and are listed on the course schedule, and the instructions for each are listed there for your review. What you cannot see here, but you will see on your course schedule, is there will also be, let me see if I can find one, there will be challenges. So just like in the real workforce, in this class, you're going to have sudden things pop up that you were ready for. Okay? That's why I've done this. It's things that are unheard of or unseen or unpredictable. Why am I doing this? I'm doing it for two reasons. One, the stock market itself is very unpredictable. And so I have to come at you every once in a while with something that you weren't ready for and then give you a week to figure out what you're going to do about it. All right, so that's one rationale for putting these in here. The other rationale is that in the real workforce, even if you don't decide to play the stock market, in the real workforce, you are going to have things pop up that you weren't ready for, things that are going to distract you, that are going to throw you off your game. And you need to get familiar with handling that. And so that's the other rationale for why I have these. But what I did want to do is at least tip you off on when they're going to come. So you're not going to be able to see these assignments until the week that they are listed in. So for example, Challenge 1 will happen in week 6. You don't know what Challenge 1 is going to be, but you know it's coming that week and it will be due by the end of that week. So your team should be ready and be far enough ahead on your homework to know that, hey, there's a challenge coming. Okay? And those challenges, again, only one person from your team has to submit them, but everybody on your team will get a grade for them. Okay, so that's the only thing that you can't see now, but it will pop up in this area of your course when the time comes. Last but not least, at the end of the semester, you will turn in a project to me. The instructions for that project are listed in this document. If you have any questions about any that I have talked about in this folder today, please create a list and have them ready for me for your initial group meeting. So please do not send me a bunch of emails after listening to this video. Please plan to discuss it with your teammates. See if your teammates may know the answer already. If they don't, then please create a list for me and then have them ready to go when I meet with you. I'm happy to answer all of your questions during our first meeting, and that is the purpose of the first meeting. Now, if there is an urgent question that you cannot wait on, then please email me. I don't want you to say, well, gosh, I really need to know the answer to this question. and he told us to wait, and I don't want to wait. I get that. If it's something urgent and you really need to know the answer, please email me directly and I'll handle that. But all other questions that could wait, try scheduling the meeting with me first, and then we'll handle it then. Okay? So that's it. There will be more videos coming soon, but for now, I just wanted to go ahead and expose you to this. You should be wrapping up chapter 2, like I said in an announcement. Previously, chapters 1 and 2 are really a review. Chapter 1 is really just a review of Business 110. Chapter 2 is a review of Accounting 120. These are things that you should have already learned. Once chapter 3 gets here, I will start posting instructional videos of some methods and some things that you can be doing at home to make the time value of money and understanding the math side of finance a little bit easier. So be on the lookout for those. Otherwise, you're all doing great. Keep up the good work, and we will talk to you soon.